Hey everybody, I'm Irik. Thanks for watching. Today I'm going to share with you an easy recipe I use for a food that every single one of my kids loves. I have 6 kids. One of them is too young to enjoy this yet, but she'll be eating it soon, I think. But the other 5 kids, they love it, and they'll eat anything we give them. But this is the only thing I can think of that they all love. It's not a sweet anyway. And so I'm going to share this with you guys. It's very easy. The only thing you need is olive oil, salt, and Dash's garlic and herb blend. And this doesn't have salt in it, which is why I use a little salt. I use salt as kind of like foundational seasoning for these stovetop potatoes. All right. And so I'm going to show you a little trick to get the potatoes to be crispy on the outside and a little soft in the middle. So it's got that crunch, but then you got that texture you bite into, and it's just flavor filled. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. And while we are cooking, I'm going to talk to you about why Folsom is a great place to live as a family. All right. So your potatoes, what I use are these little baby potatoes. All right. I don't know what they're actually called. I just grabbed the bag of them at the store. All right, perfect. And I go at it. So here we go. So what you do is you take these little potatoes and you cut them into fourths. All right. Just make 2 cuts across it, like so. So you get these little wedges, and you just throw them in the pan, and we just keep doing that. All right, until all the potatoes are cut and thrown in the pan. Now, if a potato is too big, I'll take some of these pieces and I'll cut them in half again. That being said, let me talk about Folsom and why I love Folsom. Okay, Folsom has a lot of outdoor recreation. Obviously, it's got Folsom Lake. It's also got Lake Natoma. So there's a lot of boating and beaches and stuff like that, and fishing to enjoy. There's also the American River, which with easy access to water you can actually play in. So you have multiple areas on the American River where you can just get in and swim, paddleboard, kayak. Okay, so it's great place to beat the heat, great place to just enjoy the outdoors while still not having to leave home. You just go down the road. The other things about outdoor experiences in Folsom, we have paved trails throughout Folsom that keep you safe, you and your kids safe while riding your bikes and skating or walking or whatnot. And these trails are throughout Folsom. Every neighborhood's got easy access to lots of these trails. You just walk down the street, or if you happen to be living right next to the trail, you just walk out the door, right? And you're all safe on your bikes without worrying about cars or anything. So it's great for families with a lot of kids. You don't have to worry about one kid crossing the street where it shouldn't be or riding along the street. That's tough when there's a lot of traffic. I know, I have 6 kids. So these trails are great for that. They also, some of these trails are going through scenic routes as well. So a lot of these trails are in beautiful areas. But then there's also great parks. There's a great park system in Folsom. And what makes the parks great in Folsom is that there's a wide variety of types of parks. Soccer fields at some of the parks, and some of the soccer fields are artificial turf and some are real grass. There's lights on at these soccer fields, so you can play, finish your game as it gets dark or whatever. There's volleyball courts in some of them. We have some courts are sandy, some are sand courts, some are artificial turf courts. There's lots of baseball parks. And so if you like baseball, there's lots of different baseball fields to use. So if one is already being used, hey, there's other ones. There's a bunch of them. There's a park with bocce ball courts and tennis courts and basketball courts. What else we got? Oh, disc golf. We have a park with disc golf, which is great. So you have this wide variety of type of parks. And of course, there's play structures at almost all of these parks. And some of them are pretty unique. My kids love Castle Park. The structure it's pretty cool. Parks are great. The park system here in Folsom is great. And then, of course, there's the shopping experiences, which I'll get to in a minute. Right now, I'm going to pour some olive oil into the pan here with all the potatoes now that I've finished cutting them up. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this olive oil in the pan. Make sure all the potatoes get a little bit of drizzle on top of them. And then once I see that the oil is kind of covering the whole bottom of the pan, and I've drizzled some on each piece of potato, all I'm going to do now, and that's just to make sure I don't use too much olive oil. You really don't need a lot. You just need enough that the potatoes get coated. Then I take, oh, I dropped one out of the pan. Then I take this spoon, which is kind of a flat spoon. It's not rounded. Makes it easy to get under and flip them and get more of them than with the rounded spoon. So I suggest you, if you don't have a flat one, you get one. It's very handy, not just for this dish, but for many others. And what I do is I just kind of toss the potatoes with them to make sure they all get coated evenly. And once I've coated them evenly, I'm going to sprinkle the different seasonings on them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some salt in my hand. I don't know, it's going to turn out to be about a tablespoon. I don't do exact measurements because, you know, why wash something you don't need to wash? You know, I know about how much I want to put in there, and I sprinkle it on there. I've done this so many times. The first time I did it, I didn't use measuring either. I just poured my hand and just kind of sprinkle it over till I can see that it has the amount on each of the potatoes that I want. Okay, and now that I've got the salt in there, I'm going to toss them again to evenly distribute the salt throughout, so it's not just on top of the potatoes where they are at. I want to get the salt spread on all sides of the potatoes. All right, and once I've done that, I've got the foundational seasoning there. Now, if you wanted to, you could just leave it at that with just salt, and they're good with just salt. But I like adding a little bit more flavor as well. So I have the Dash's garlic and herb seasoning blend, and I'm going to do the same thing with it that I did the salt, except I'm not pouring it in my hand because it's not as high density. So I'm going to just cover the top of these with it. Just load them up. And it looks like a lot when it's on top like that, but once it's all mixed up, it's not going to be so much because it's covering the whole potato, not just the top. So let's go ahead and toss those just like I did with the salt. Now my suggestion for you is to try just some different herb blends and just test them out. And the quantity you put on them, again, trial and error. Give it a try. I mean, great science experiment. I used to be a science teacher, so 23 years. All right, they're all covered. So what I'm going to do now here's the thing. You don't want to cook them on high at the beginning. If you cook them on high at the beginning, then it's going to cook the outside, and the inside of the potatoes won't get cooked. And so you're going to actually either have burned potatoes or you're going to have uncooked potatoes, no in between. So what you want to do is you want to cook it on low. I'll cook it on actually medium low for a while. And there isn't a specific time. You know, everyone's stove actually gives off a different amount of heat based on like mine says medium low, but maybe on your stove that's not medium low. Maybe on your stove it's between medium low and medium. It's not medium low. They're different. And then you have different size burners. And so that makes a difference as well. So the only way you can really tell when it's done is by taking off the lid after a while and testing it. And then another thing great about using this flat-headed spoon is that you could push down into the potato. If it's hard, then it's not ready to turn up the heat yet. You want the potatoes to be soft. You want this flat edge to be able to go into the potato easily. Once it can go into the potato easily, then you turn up the heat on high and you cook it quickly. You cook the outside of the potato, and that high heat's not going to cook the inside. So you cook the outside, you sear the outside, and then then you toss the potatoes again, and you keep doing that till all the potatoes are seared on the outside. So you got that crispy outside, and the inside stays soft. And that's how you do it. So I'm going to put this lid on here, and it's important that you put the lid on especially while it's on medium low, because that allows it to more easily cook throughout the potato instead of just under it. Because you trap in that hot air, and the hot air cooks the potatoes on top, not just the pan cooking it from the bottom. Let's go ahead and talk about shopping in Folsom. So Folsom has 3 great shopping experiences. There are many other shopping experiences in Folsom. The 3 great ones, the 3 main ones, we have the Palladio. The Palladio has a very sophisticated feel to it. It's a more modern building. It's part of the Broadstone community in Folsom. It has great landscaping. The building's great. It's got amazing restaurants and lots of great shopping and movies. So it's a place that you can go and spend the whole day there with your family doing a variety of different things. Okay. Then we have the Folsom Premium Outlets. Folsom Premium Outlets. It has a lot of great stores. It's a lot bigger than it seems. You park on one side of it, and you think, okay, it's just this area, but it's huge. It's got all these different like kind of islands of all these different shops, pastry shops, and what have you, ice cream, whatever. So there's a great toy store there called Brainy Zoo Toys. You gotta check that out. They actually have another store in the other shopping center I'm going to talk about right now. So it's kind of a good segue. So Brainy Zoo Toys is also in historic Folsom on Sutter Street. Okay, Sutter Street is so charming. It's my favorite part of Folsom when it comes to places to go. It's right next to the American River with easy access to the water. So you can go enjoy picnic, swimming, kayaking, paddleboarding, whatever, right there at the water, and walk up and do your shopping or do that after the shopping. There's all kinds of great stores along Sutter Street and the streets that run along with that. Sutter Street in historic Folsom has the most amazing restaurants in the area. And of course, the Zittel Family Amphitheater is there as well, which is a great outdoor amphitheater that they use for like concerts and all kinds of great events throughout the year. The historic Folsom not only has the shopping experiences, but it also has the family activity experiences, all kinds of events people come from all over the place to go do, including boxcar races. I mean, who still does boxcar races anymore, right? But they're so much fun. So historic Folsom has a lot to offer you. I can't think of anything like it anywhere else in the Sacramento area. Sutter Street is just amazing. And then entertainment. I touched on Sutter Street already a little bit with the entertainment, with the family or the Zittel Family Amphitheater and the concerts and other events that they host there. But Sutter Street also has a Sutter Street Theater, which is a lot of fun. It's a playhouse with a lot of great plays, and everybody that loves that place. It just adds to the charm of Sutter Street. Folsom also has the Hair Center for the Arts, which has big plays. They do all kinds of great plays, and they do it as fundraisers, do all kinds of different stuff, and it's got this very upscale feel to it. And when you go to the Hair Center, it just feels like you're in some spectacular place that's all about the arts and whatnot, and it's just down the street, right? So it's a lot of fun, and it's a great atmosphere. We have the Folsom City Zoo, which the kids love. Sequest is here as well. The kids love Sequest. My kids, because we're foster parents, we're able to go to Sequest for free, so we use it. We take advantage of that, and we go to Sequest, and it's so much fun for the kids. The kids love it. And then, the Folsom Aquatic Center. This is a place you're going to want to spend. Your kids are going to want to spend a lot of time during the summer if you don't have a pool. The Folsom Aquatic Center has a lot to offer. It's great for all ages. Okay, so you have water play pads with all kinds of different water activities and stuff for the little kids. So even toddlers have something to do that's safe for them. There's a lap pool with diving boards, or we have big old twisty slides, and it's just so much fun. And the kids just love being in the water and the various activities and stuff. Water cannons, and they love water cannons. And then, of course, we have a couple different railroads that's fun for the kids. My kids have always loved railroads ever since they were little. I still have a little one, but our oldest is 10. So I remember when our oldest was like 3, and we went on her first train, and she loved it, and all the kids have loved it. So we have in Folsom, we have the Folsom Valley Railway, which is a miniature train, and it does like a 10-minute loop. And they host different events throughout the year. One of them is the Holiday Lights one. So you're on the train, you're enjoying the different holiday lights and stuff. And And then there's the Renaissance Pleasure Fair. The Renaissance Pleasure Fair is hosted there, and that gets so many people from all over the place because it's so much fun. And so it's something you obviously, even if you don't live in Folsom, you should check out. But there's another railroad. It's the Placerville and Sacramento Valley Railroad. They host special events as well. They have the Easter Egg Express. They have the Mother's Day brunch, and they do a Hot August night ride. And so all different events, and they're all different, and they're all worth going to. You're not going to get bored by going to the railroad multiple times, especially if you're going to the different events. And then, of course, Folsom has the pro rodeo. And everyone here loves the pro rodeo. That being said, Folsom has great outdoor recreation opportunities. It's got great shopping experiences, and all the neighborhoods in Folsom are close to these things. Folsom is a very small area, and so all these great things are nearby, no matter what neighborhood you choose. And it has great entertainment. And so now I'd like to talk to you about some of the best neighborhoods, my favorite neighborhoods. And they're on my list for different reasons. Briggs Ranch is my favorite for a number of reasons. Briggs Ranch has a variety of types of homes. You have these big, custom, beautiful, more modern homes. You got some of the older, smaller, cozy homes and whatnot. But no matter what the types of homes are, they're well kept. There's a pride in ownership in Briggs Ranch, as well as all these other neighborhoods I'm going to mention. If I don't see pride in ownership in a neighborhood, I'm not going to like that neighborhood. And these neighborhoods that I'm going to give you in this list, they all show great pride in ownership. Almost all of Folsom does, but these in particular are the best when it comes to pride and ownership. Now, Briggs Ranch, you got this variety of homes. They're on hills, and so you have some areas where it's more flat, some of the hills, so it gives you some various degrees of difficulty for riding your bicycle or jogging or whatnot. So that's good. They also have good parks, just like any other neighborhood. But its location is amazing. It's right next to the lake. You can walk across Natoma Street, and boom, you're at the lake. Okay, and so it's easy access to the lake. You can just walk or ride your bike to the lake. Piece of cake. Just one of the main reasons it's my favorite. One of the other main reasons is the variety types of front yards. I love seeing the different yards in Briggs Ranch. There's so much different things in landscaping going on in Briggs Ranch. You're not going to get anywhere else in the Folsom area. Most of the Folsom area, the front yards are all beautiful, but they're all very similar to each other. In Briggs Ranch, they're not. And I love that variety. So Briggs Ranch, that's my favorite. And then some of the others that I like, and I enjoy walking through these neighborhoods because number one, everybody in Folsom is so friendly. I haven't met anybody who didn't mind chatting for a while, and they were very positive. I just one of the things I just love about Folsom overall is that people are just so friendly and happy. It's a very positive place. But Natoma Station is another great neighborhood in Folsom. Natoma Station, one of the things I love about Natoma Station, and it's another place that has hills and stuff, but there's a main street that goes through Natoma Station, and each of the side streets has a median that forces you to make the turn on the right side of the road. And in that median, each median has its own piece of art. So every street along every side street, when you enter it, has its own special piece of art. And it's really cool. I love that. Let's see. We also have Los Cerros. Los Cerros. There isn't anything in particular about Los Cerros that is phenomenal. It's just that the homes are beautiful. And again, it's just another well-maintained neighborhood with great pride and ownership. People are friendly, and the homes are beautiful. And the same thing for Broadstone. Broadstone, the homes are just beautiful, and it's just a great neighborhood. There isn't anything that really stands out as unique, but it is beautiful. Natoma Station, Los Cerros, and Broadstone are also, none of them have HOAs, and neither does Briggs Ranch. So they don't have HOA dues. There are two more on my list. The Parkway. The Parkway, absolutely beautiful. Okay, the Parkway is right across from Briggs Ranch. Our Parkway is much different from Briggs Ranch. They share the Economy Park, which is it kind of split right between the two, and that has bocce ball, a beautiful soccer field with lights and bleachers, and it's just it's amazing. Parkway is very flat. There's not hills. It's all flat. The streets are a lot more organized than Briggs Ranch. Briggs Ranch is more old school, kind of, there's more randomness to where the streets are going, whether they're turning, whether they're straight or whatnot. And there's a specific street in the Parkway I love. It's called Thurman Circle. No, Thurman Way. And it's got lights that go zigzag across the street over the top as you drive by. So it's festive all year. I love that street. So I love the Parkway. It is an HOA. The HOA, the dues, I believe, is $135 a month, which is really low for an HOA. But they do they have security, and so the HOA dues cover security and front yard maintenance, exterior maintenance of yard. So you don't have to worry about maintaining your front yard. They have a crew that goes out around and does that. So all our yards look the same. That's the one downside to the Parkway. Everybody has the same exact trees, cut the same exact way, in the same exact yard, and everything's almost exactly the same. But it is done beautifully. The trees are trimmed symmetrically. Like it's like they don't mess up. Like it's standard. Everything is done the exact same way, and it is beautiful. But if you don't like everything being the same, it's not going to be for you. If you like variety in yards and trees, then the Parkway is probably not for you. So I would go over to Briggs Ranch, which is across the street. So basically the same neighborhood. It's just across the street. And so there's a Parkway and the homes in the Parkway. Some of the homes are kind of carbon copies of each other, but then you get on some streets in the Parkway, it's like, oh my God, those houses are beautiful. Right? You got so much variety on some of the streets that some of the other streets in the Parkway don't have. And so it's fun to see those when you're going through that neighborhood. And then the other one on my list, Empire Ranch. Empire Ranch isn't on my list of favorite neighborhoods because I like the whole neighborhood, like I like the whole of the other neighborhoods I mentioned. Empire Ranch, there isn't anything too special about most of Empire Ranch. Empire Ranch, it's kind of like Broadstone, and there are parts where you can drive from Broadstone into Empire Ranch. You wouldn't know that you went from one to the other. But some of the Empire Ranch is nothing special. But there's this one part of Empire Ranch, and this is the reason why it's on my list, is there's a gated community. There's a gated part of the community in Empire Ranch, and the homes have the most incredible views. They're on the higher hills in Folsom, and their views of the area are tremendous. You can see the lake, you can see into Sacramento. Like the valley is amazing views, and the homes in this community, they're all very different from each other. Very different from each other. So there's a lot of variety, and they're big, beautiful homes. And these are obviously going to be the more upscale homes in Folsom, but I mean, incredible views, great variety, and so that part of Empire Ranch is on my list. Now, there's a part of Folsom that at this point is not on my list. I don't know if it will be on my list when they're done with the development, but there was a lot of hype the city put into this new development. It's called Folsom Ranch. So far, what they talked about, how great it was going to be, I'm looking at Folsom Ranch, going through the neighborhood, and I don't know. I'm not impressed. Each individual home, there's some individual homes that are really cute. Okay, I'll give you that. But mostly, so far what I've seen, they look like a bunch of boxes sprouted out of an open field, packed up right next to each other. So I'm not impressed. It doesn't match what it sounded like they were saying the development was going to be like. But they're only a small fraction of the way done with Folsom Ranch. So maybe when they're done and they have all the parks that they're going to have in there and the schools they're going to build and all of that, once they have all of that done, maybe it will look the way that they made me expect it to be. But in the moment, I'm kind of on Folsom Ranch. So that's Folsom for you. All right. I don't know if you can tell on there, but you see that orange coloring on the inside of the potato? That's how you know when it's done. Now it's maybe a little hot, but I don't want to wait anymore. I'm going to taste test it. Perfect. All right, guys. My name is Irik Edens with Full of Heart Homes. Have a wonderful day. You deserve it.